After the fall, a Californian hellscape in a universe where global warming wasn't full of shit. I guess that's why they're stuck in the 80s. It stands in juxtaposition of Vertigo game's previous VR title, Arizona Sunshine, a game that came out before VR was popular. Most outlets have been referring to it as Left 4 Dead in VR, and it's close enough. It's slightly different, but understands the core of Left 4 Dead. The major difference is there's a boss to defeat and you go into each run with the weapons you have selected. During these runs, you collect floppy disks that hold upgraded schematics in glowy yellow orbs they're called Harvest, that you use as currency, which can then be used to buy equipment during your run and to upgrade your guns when you return to the hub. Just don't think about it too much. It's a simple premise that's been done to great success and it has a lot of potential to be a great VR game. It's better than Back 4 Blood by miles. So I had to rewrite this script. This is coming out halfway through Season 1 roadmap after the Shock and Awe update. In a rare occasion, the devs have improved the game and fixed a lot of my gripes, so now I have to rewrite 3 pages. I'm going to say it now. If you want a PvE game to play with a couple of friends, this is a fun VR game. But right now, $40 is a bit high. If the devs keep adding content like they are, I can see it being worth that in the future, especially as they are starting to polish the game. So far this season, they've added a new map that I've been enjoying, however the ending is a massive disappointment. Here's my live reaction. Okay dude, I am getting Kino to Toten vibes here and I kinda love it. Like, you're almost winning me over again after fall. Almost, we'll see. I kinda like this setup here, and like as a zombies player, I'm enjoying it. If I don't fight that big yellow dude, I'll be very disappointed in you after the fall. Like, please, that better be who I fight. For a moment, I thought it was leading up to something interesting and cool, like a big reveal that was being alluded to. But no, it's just this big, dumb piece of shit again. A little bit smaller this time, but the same fucking bullshit. It is the same fucking boss fight. There's a loose story here that you progress through to unlock each of the 6 weapons. It's there to give you a reason for each run and to make the final level this climactic boss fight. But it just falls flat. It doesn't particularly bother me because I was here to put bullets in zombies' heads and not listen to some grand speech. However, I wish they hired better writers because the characters kind of suck, like the voice lines suck, they're cringy, and whatever humor is there just falls flat. I had to rewrite this here too. Initially, balancing seemed to be around damage per bullet versus damage per second. With the new guns and the new patch notes, guns seem to be balanced around fitting certain roles. I'm not going to number crunch because weapons are being tweaked every update. The 9mm weapons, which fit the DPS role, have been given a 20% buff against common enemies, but a 20% debuff against elite enemies. Changing them into a mob clearing role, the rifles seem to be balanced to be a versatile general purpose weapon with variation on damage versus fire rate, with the revolver and deagle being hard hitting, limited capacity, slower fire rate elite killers. The revolver has 6 rounds and high recoil, but a 25% damage bonus to elites, making it a viable choice. The shotgun just exists. Like, also, can we get a semi-automatic attachment at a cost of damage reduction? Pump actions, in my experience using a Rift S, fail to cycle at random points due to tracking. It already has a spring on the magazine tube, which is only on semi-automatic shotguns. I'm going on a tangent. Like, I appreciate you guys added the pump lock. It was something I really wanted added, but come on, semi-auto, please, for the love of God. On top of this, manual reloads have been given a 35% damage buff, rather than the original 50% harvest bonus. You have no idea how fucking happy I am about this. I love manual reloads in VR games, but due to the previous attachment grind, I was stuck doing auto reloading just to keep my DPS up. I love this new balancing direction, for the love of God, keep it up. The gunplay is decent, primarily because every attachment fucks with it until you have the best tier stuff, and then you can really dial it into your playstyle. Outside of the ridiculous recoil you get if you have a high damage barrel but low tier other parts, the gunplay just doesn't get in your way. That's all I can really say about it. The wrist rockets you unlock are really cool. The new update added something I wanted. You can now hold more than 1 missile charge at a time. However, I wish I could hold more stims and pipe bombs. with the amount of stuff you find in stockpile and then end up throwing it through the map because there's no way to store it, it'd be nice to save my time and give me a bigger inventory. There's also a new Wristmaster Weapon which I haven't unlocked yet. While I'm on it, the interactivity and interface is really good. You can shoot or bash off locks, you can open drawers and filing cabinets with your hands, and something I enjoy doing, pushing doors open with my rifle and clearing the room, or just shooting the door open. Item storage, if limited, is quick and easy, using the Half-Life Alyx method. I wish I could stack duplicate items. Healing yourself is cool as you stab your arm and release the goo. Phrasing. Oh, and I love smashing the big red button to start and finish the level. However, I wish they did more of this, which I'll get to later. Okay, I want to give Vertigo Games some credit here. They give players every bit of accessibility when it comes to playing this game. Multiple motion and turning options, as well as teleportation and vision options to help stop people from getting motion sick. There's 5 levels that are distinct from each other with an interesting set piece. All of them have an interesting start, coming up from an underground train station or leaving an elevator, and an okay ending, being in a construction yard or a military base. But the middle sections are just forgettable, either due to the snow or the repeat office rooms. It's like going to a modern suburban block. All the houses are the same layout but with different paint jobs, or if it's really spicy, rotated 90 degrees. That might just be an Australian thing. The first level feels just a bit too long when replaying it. It's a good introduction but drags on in subsequent playthroughs, and the final level is it's god awful. I will rant about it later. The others are just the right length and fun to shoot your way through. There is a Horde Mode added recently. It's basically shoot hordes as they come from 3 directions into your final stand pit. Gotta say, I'm kinda disappointed. Due to zombie speeds and a lack of space, this game mode comes down to timing your grenades and keeping your DPS high. Because if the zombies get into your pit with reasonable numbers, you are fucked. Because unlike COD zombies, you can't train them by running faster and going around a large map or by using the environment. The resupply boxes only refill once you're below 40% total ammo, which if you're playing solo is an annoying pain in the ass. In fact, playing this mode solo is just not fun. I'd have loved it if it was like Call of Duty Zombies and I could train or loop zombies. So personally, I'm just going to keep playing Parkour VR's COD Zombies mod. I'd love to see this mode worked and developed into something more fun, with an arena the size of a multiplayer map, just to make it easier to survive in and more enjoyable. There is a PvP mode that I have not played, primarily because I couldn't find any matches. I'm in an Australian time zone, and that makes it a pain in the ass. And because if I want to play PvP, I'm just going to play Pavlov. Like, if you're on Quest or PSVR and you want to know my opinion on it, comment. But otherwise, I'm just going to play Pavlov. It's designed around PvP. Moving on to enemies. They're pretty basic. You have your standard cannon fodder, an exploder, a brute, and then a juggernaut. The elite enemies are telegraphed by audio cues and music, which is fantastic. It's what Left 4 Dead did, and it's what Back 4 Blood can't do. It works well enough. I love the juggernaut. Its presence unites your entire team to put this thing down, because it can kill you in one hit by picking you up and knocking you out. When it grabs a teammate, the tension goes up, and if he grabs you, it feels awesome dumping a magazine of your deagle into his face. My nitpick, and it is a nitpick, is when he grabs you, you get a black screen transition, and personally, I would prefer it to be a smooth animation, but, as I said, it's a nitpick, and I love this addition to the game. The brute zombie is more just a bullet sponge, and is an okay addition. Whoever the elite slayer of the team is, focuses fire on him and takes him down. If you're in a tight corridor, he's a real threat, but overall it's kinda meh. The exploder is meh. He seems to have been patched where you don't get insta-blinded no matter what now, but he's just kind of a bullet sponge to take up what little ammo you have, and it's kinda hard to use him in a tactical way. He's more of a nuisance than a fun dynamic. Now we've covered the few enemies that there are in the game, time to cover the one boss. This boss is the only major gripe I still have with the game. There is one boss fight in this game. It's not a good boss fight. It kills you in one hit. It's not a fun boss fight. It's not interesting in any way. Its animations aren't interesting. It's just long and tedious. You shoot off its armor, you shoot its weak points, and then it dies. And even with better equipment, it still is a shit boss. It dies a little quicker. Initially I thought it's an okay boss, it's not too much of a problem. That wasn't until I did the final level. I had to fight this cunt 3 fucking times, back to back.
because every time you kill it, it just comes back with more bias armor for you to fight it off again for some stupid fucking reason. I don't know why. It's a complete failure of game design. All it resulted was this climactic boss fight that I never wanted to do again, and I just absolutely hated. Especially since at no point is there a safe room for you to go into, so you get stuck doing a shitty 3-wave boss fight while holding the floppies you found because of the progression system. Then you're running around in an oval that's barely big enough, dumping ammo constantly into this boss. I have done it 3 times. The first to complete the campaign, the second time to record this complete failure of game design, and the third time to test if attachments only spawn on certain maps. Quite frankly, I would rather be tased every time I swear while reading Samuel L. Jackson quotes, motherfucker, because that sounds like a better time. The next page and a half of this script has been deleted, because they got rid of the mechanic that made me furious. At launch, you had to grind little floppy disks by completing runs, and you'd frequently get duplicate items. Even if you had almost nothing from that tier of items, you could get duplicates. The only way to do harder difficulties was to get higher tier items from these discs. So here's a short montage of my frustration. Now, I'm sure you could imagine why I would hate this and how infuriating this mechanic would be. I don't know who got their dick sucked, but they removed duplicate items from the game, so every disc you pick up is actually a new part. This made me actually excited for disc now rather than bitter. Like, when I pick up a disc now, it's... Ooh, floppy. Hell yeah, boys! We're getting some new stuff this round. Yeah, boss is dead! It's so like it's fuck Afghanistan. I guess we'll see what we get. Like, maybe we'll get 2 items that are actually non-duplicates. If we're really lucky. Oh well. Oh, come, you were fucking kidding me. Really? 4 fucking duplicates. Fuck. That's why I've been playing this game. This is why I've been like playing fucking Halo and goddamn Deep Rock. Fuck this shit. In fact, this shock and awe update has made me excited to play this game for the first time since my first few runs. The new weapons are fun, I feel like I'm making progress, and I have hope for the game's direction. This section is more aimed as feedback for the developers directly if they are watching. I want this game to be as iconic and successful as Pavlov VR, and the shock and awe update has been a massive step towards that, fixing my biggest issues with the game, to the point I had to rewrite most of the script. I'd love to see the inventory system reworked, so more items can be carried. My idea is you can carry 3 of the same item in one pocket, that way it's 2 items but you can stack them. When you're grinding harder difficulties, you need these items more. It's tedious playing hopscotch with your excess items through the whole map. Even with the limited item purchases from vendors, you still have the items you find as you play, adding up. Recruit and difficulty, I don't need to do it, but trying to grind master runs with a 2-man team, it's basically a necessity, because revives and healing are a pain in the ass. Oh, I'd also love if revives didn't require an item, especially as now there's a delay to revives. Please just use an infinite use item on the waistband that can be used for just reviving. No actual healing, just get someone back on their feet and back into the fight. Even if there's a max amount of times you can revive a player, for example, Vermintide 2 you can only revive someone twice without healing them. There's certain maps that are fun that I just don't play when grinding because the risk of losing that final area because I can't revive a fellow teammate just isn't worth it. I'm going to call it how it is. The current boss sucks, and in my opinion, the arena format isn't a good fit for VR when it comes to bosses. What I'd like to see is something that takes advantage of how interactable VR is and gives breathing room. The idea in my mind while writing this script is using a howitzer or anti-tank gun against a biomass. It's attacking you with tentacles or maybe spitting blood bombs at you. The location they're going to hit is clearly telegraphed by red markers, so you can move out of the way and you still have normal zombies attacking in waves. The reason I say waves is so timing can be adjusted to give players a few moments to resupply and reorganize, or even load and fire the anti-tank gun. to give you options for balancing as well. For example, how this could work, here's Pavlov's tank footage. You'd have players picking up the tank gun's feet and moving it, or pushing it to aim the gun to various weak spots. You could also have some great environmental storytelling with some clear military fighting. Hell, if the gun is using specialized rounds found there, you can get a whole new story point or ammunition type. It makes the player interact with the world, and it's a distinctive, memorable boss fight. But that's just my opinion, and the Quest 2's limitations might make that too hard. As for interactivity, I'd love to see machine gun emplacements or traps to give players more power in certain spots to take on a tougher foe and create a cool set piece. I'd personally love to see bipods. You sacrifice movement for the ability to reduce recoil and do suppressive fire. I am loving the direction you're going with balancing, making each weapon fit a certain role, giving calibers buffs and debuffs. In general, you're buffing guns and making them handle better. In a PvE game, I prefer fun over difficulty. I'd rather be slightly overpowered and able to take risks and have fun, rather than a balanced or difficult game where I have to be serious and chase the meta. I hope you keep going in this direction so every high level match can stop being kiting and abusing enemy spawns, because right now, that's all it is, which is why you see so much item stacking. Bonus stuff I'd like to see. A grenade launcher. Whether it's an M79 grenade launcher or a cannon, I don't really care. I just think it'd be fine, it would be helpful for clearing hordes at the end of levels. If you limit its ammo to 5 to 10 rounds, it becomes a utility item rather than a main weapon. Healing gas grenades. Sometimes healing your allies can be a pain in the ass, especially with the unlimited supplies you have. And the ability to heal everyone over 20 seconds, for example, even if it's only 50% health, could be really useful. For example, Killing Floor 2 has these grenades. They're really helpful in the middle of combat too. I'd love to see ammunition selection. Armor piercing ammo that does 10 or 20% less damage but can hit multiple enemies with one round. Or on the opposite end, hollow points that massively increase staggered damage at the cost of damage. Oh, also a bigger weapon wall. Like, you're adding new guns to it, but I have nowhere to store it. I personally like to fully upgrade my guns and leave them on the wall looking all pretty like. So that'd be a nice little adaptation, just an extended wall in that room so you can hold all, I think, 9 guns right now, instead of, just the 6, and I'm going to throw out certain guns that I don't use. So my overall thoughts. If you have a VR group to play this game with, there's a lot of fun to be had, as all 4 of you working together is balanced well enough. But if it's just 2 of you, the bots suck and sometimes random elite spawns can buttfuck you. Before this update, I'd have said this game was mediocre, lacking content of bad balancing and tedious grind that, if it was a desktop game, I wouldn't touch it. Its only appeal is VR, because the industry is kind of shit right now, let's be honest. But now, like right now, I'm excited for the game's future. If they continue to listen to players' feedback, add more content, and make a memorable boss fight, this could be an iconic and quintessential VR title, just like Pavlov and Boneworks. Right now, however, it's a fun VR game. On desktop, it's like a 7 out of 10. As a VR game, it's 9 out of 10. But I do hope to see this game become a gold standard for VR. I'll keep my eye on it, and if there's something I'm super excited about, I will do an updated review. Stick around for more VR content. I hope to see you in the future, and you have yourself a good one. K-mando Dave. God damn it, controller. God damn it, you son of a bitch. Okay. Fucking. I need to buy myself a new controller. This has been K-mando Dave. You have a good one. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully.